model to be built at the country's biggest car plant has ushered in a new era at the Nissan factory in Sunderland. Over the next 2 years, the vehicles that help make it the most successful car plant in Europe will start to be phased out, and 3 new models are to take their place. As Julia Bartle reports, it means new staff being taken on, new skills being learned, and new targets for even more cars to come off the production line.
These staff are the first to see how the new C+C will look as a production model rather than as a concept car. The C+C is a convertible version of the Micra and will be the first of 3 new models to go into production in Sunderland over the next 2 years. The chassis will be built on the existing production line, but a new workshop will have to be prepared to build the body and roof. The announcement that the C+C will be built in Sunderland has been followed quickly by 2 other new models. Last month, a new 4x4 was unveiled in Sunderland. This part people carrier, part hatchback has brought more than £220 million of investment to the UK. Much of that money will be spent fitting out the plant ready for production. 200 new jobs will be created and more than 1,000 made safe.
Every time we get a new model, it's a lot of job satisfaction as well as guaranteed job security for a lot of people.
Do you get excited when you see a new model coming along?
Oh yeah, because you hear about it and then the rumours start, and then when you actually see it, you know, it's quite exciting.
Bringing another £100 million to the UK and creating another 200 jobs is the Tone, a mini MPV. These 2 larger cars will be produced on the Almira and Primera production line, taking over as these models are phased out. Altogether, the 3 new cars will safeguard around 5,000 jobs at Nissan and in the supply chain throughout the northeast.
Well, we can now join our reporter, Julia Bartle, who's at the Nissan plant on Wearside, where she's been finding out how the factory is preparing to produce the new vehicles. Julia.
Thanks. Well, yes, this that you can see behind me is actually the closest anybody's seen to what the Micra convertible will look like when it comes off the production line here. And this model's actually here now so that workers can start to learn their way around it ahead of production. I'm joined now by the Deputy Managing Director of the plant, Trevor Mann. Just explain to me how much work it actually takes before a car can come off the production line.
I think if you consider that we've been working on this car now for over a year, from design concept, allocating suppliers, making prototype parts to get a car here just at this stage, and now that is about 6 months before we start production. So within the next 6 months we'll be working hard, training all our people, installing the facilities so this car is ready to go in September.
Now you're seeing 3 new models coming to the plant over the next 18 months. Is this a new era for the plant? Will we see other models phasing out?
I think so. I mean, as you're well aware, we've announced now 3 new models for the plant, the first one being the Micra C+C. Then we've got the Tone and Qashqai, which launches at the end of 2006. By then, you will see some of the old models potentially running out. I will say, however, that we still have very good custom for both our Almira and Primera models, so we'll be watching the market very closely.
And in terms of production, I've heard talk that it might actually go up here. You're already the most productive, biggest car plant in the UK. Could you be making even more models?
I think yes, we're sort of stable at the moment with around about 320,000 cars per year, and that makes us, as you said, the most productive and the highest volume manufacturer in the UK. With these models, that could see potentially our volume going up to around about 400,000 a year.
Exciting times.
It is exciting times. I mean, that model volume obviously secures employment at the plant. Those 3 models alone will secure employment of around about 2,500 people.
Thanks very much for joining us today. And the production of this car behind me starts in August. We then have the Tone coming in January next year and the Qashqai by December at the end of next year. Back to you.
Thanks, Julia. 400 staff at the region's biggest further education college have walked out in a dispute over pay. Members of the lecturers' union NATFI have been taking part in the one-day strike at Newcastle College. They say they are angry the college has failed to implement a nationally agreed pay deal. But the college says it's spending more than £4 million on improving salaries over the next 5 years.
Lecturers in Newcastle walked out this morning as part of a national day of action. Newcastle College is one of many further education colleges across the country, which unions say have failed to implement a nationally agreed pay settlement. Lecturers earn an average wage of £22,000 a year, £3,000 less than the average teacher.
This college has no financial problems. In fact, as I understand, it's got an increased income of 20 million over the last 2 years. It's a matter of priorities. It's chosen to build buildings. It's a bit like a building site around here. We want new buildings, but it's no good putting new buildings up without paying staff decently, because the college in the end is its staff and its students.
The Further Education College, which is the largest in the region and among the top 5 in Britain, says it's done all it can. In the next 5 years, it claims it's committed to a pay deal worth almost £4.5 million. But unions say the college is only honouring part of the settlement, and lecturers might also face a longer working week.
There'll be another 2-day strike action later this month, and there may be further action. But the message we're trying to say to the principal is that sit down with us, talk it through, thrash it out, and let's avoid this disruption.
I mean, some might say it's the students that suffer in the end.
The students, unfortunately, in these situations do suffer, but unfortunately people come to the end of their tether on this one, and we've got the long-term interest of students at heart.
Karen Thomas, North East Tonight, Newcastle.
A bid to fund the building.